Just randomly, do y'all ever wonder how they will animate Kuruk fighting against Ko and how awesome that fight would be? And this is how I would want it to play out. And this would take place after Ko took Kuruk's lover's face, and he immediately goes and knows who to look for. And peep this, he finally walks into Ko's cave, like his lair. And Ko simply tries to do his typical,
Welcome.
But Kuruk stands there with no hesitation or flinching, with a look that's pure emotionless and neutral, feeling completely broken knowing that Ko is the one that stole the woman that he loved from him. And when Ko noticed that this one human didn't flinch, show any fear, and still stood there emotionless, that intrigued Ko, and he pulled back slightly, causing Ko to ask while also circling around Avatar Kuruk, what reasoning does a mortal such as yourself, with such an interesting look about you, have with a spirit such as I? And Avatar Kuruk said with a slow breath and a monotone voice, why did you take Yumi from me? And with Ko still looking at Avatar Kuruk, constantly switching faces right in front of him again and again and again, in order to try to get him to flinch or show any emotion, he simply says, Yumi, Yumi, I don't know a Yumi. And then Avatar Kuruk goes on to say, Yumi was supposed to be my wife, and now I have to kill you. As he slowly gets into a powerful stance in front of Ko the face stealer. And in that moment, while Ko is constantly switching faces right in front of Kuruk, he finds Yumi's face and says, oh, I do remember this face. But you dare challenge me over a trivial and pathetic human. Meanwhile, Ko is saying that entire sentence while still wearing Yumi's face, as he continues to try to egg on Avatar Kuruk's emotion just so he can find the opportunity to steal his face. Meanwhile, Kuruk is still unfazed. But Ko continues to use Yumi's face because he knows that is his best opportunity to attack Avatar Kuruk. But at the same time, Ko doesn't view Avatar Kuruk as a serious threat, more as just a playful endeavor, because how little and pathetic that he thinks humans are, along with their petty emotions. And that caused Ko to go even closer to Avatar Kuruk just so the slightest movement of emotion or fear, he would be able to steal his face instantly. And you start to see Ko's antennas twitching with anticipation, waiting, eager to steal his face. But Avatar Kuruk still stands there, emotionless, looking eye to eye to Ko in a powerful bending form, ready to kill him at any moment. And that's where Ko get incredibly excited to the point where he can't hide it no longer. Shaken with the anticipation to steal the face of this mortal that was able to last this long without showing any emotion towards him. So Ko plays along and says, I thought you said you was going to kill me, but yet you haven't moved. Is it fear, perhaps? And Ko continues to add on by saying, no, it's not fear. Maybe it's worry. And then he immediately switches back to Yumi's face and says, or is it regret, anguish, or something even stronger? Or maybe this face doesn't mean anything to you, and that trivial mortal was nothing more than what I expected this whole time. Just a pathetic space. A void, even, taking up everyone's time, including yours. You don't really love this face. You just needed something to fill in your space and time. Like something to do, like how I do with humans. I can sense it on you right now. You're more bored than fearful or regretful, or even feel love toward this face. Just pure boredom. You don't want to fight me for this human you so called loved. You want to fight me because you're bored. But the problem with that whole entire statement was that for Kuruk, he started having flashbacks because he started to realize Ko was almost right. Because Avatar Kuruk was in a time of peace directly after Yang Chen, and he excelled tremendously with his bending, where he would travel around the world in order to best people to find a challenge or find anything to alleviate his burden of being bored. Because as an avatar, he felt like he has a responsibility to do something, but nothing ever came. But everything changed when he met Yumi, the love of his life, the one that he saw a future with, the woman he wanted to be his wife, because he felt like he has a new purpose in life, and it involved her. But it was Ko who managed to take that from him, to steal her from the world, a world that Kuruk felt like he had no more ties to, because Yumi was going to be his world, his very purpose, and without that, he is nothing. And Kuruk, with a subtle breath in order to maintain his composure, says in one whole sentence, I will take you from this world as you took the world from me. And at that very moment, when Ko heard that, he started to smile uncontrollably. His antennas started shaking nonstop. He couldn't even keep himself still. He started swaying side to side, staring into Kuruk's eyes, waiting for the opportunity to take down this one human that managed to defy him for this long. And that's when Ko begins to laugh and say, and so it was regret, anguish, worry, even pray tell fear. He immediately switches back to Yumi's face as he closes in on Kuruk's. And at that point, Ko can't help but say, I am waiting for the opportunity to steal your face. The slightest movement, the slightest break, the slightest moments of fear and emotions, and your face is mine. And with Avatar Kuruk's spear still pointed at Ko, he starts to clench it tighter, waiting for his moment to kill and attack Ko. And Kuruk goes on to say this, I have no fear of you, because I lost the only one thing that I was afraid to lose. And I also have no emotions, because you took the only one. And I do repeat, Spirit, the only one that has been able to make me feel anything. So enough with these mind games and trivial questions, because I have nothing else to live for. This is where we both die, right here, right now. Avatar Kuruk spins his spear, getting ready to attack Ko. And at the same time, he is still maintaining a complete emotionless, dead stare at Ko, causing Ko's smile to slightly drop a little bit as he says, do you think you, as a weak, mere pathetic human, could possibly slay me? And Avatar Kuruk begins to walk directly towards Ko. And he starts to tell Ko, like I said before, Spirit, either you die, or I die, or both of us die, because I have nothing else to live for. Causing Ko, who been in Avatar Kuruk's face this entire time, to pull back and literally back up in a very cautious manner with less and less of a smile on his face, slowly backing up deeper and deeper into his lair. And Ko starts to say, very well then, since you seem to be extremely confident in your abilities to slay me, we shall see if you have a different fate in comparison to the others that happen to face me. And Avatar Kuruk continues to walk closer and closer towards Ko, walking deeper and deeper into the lair. But then Avatar Kuruk throws his spear behind Ko, sticking to the edge of the cave, causing Ko to stop momentarily because he felt it bounce against his back. When Ko feels something blocking his path from backing up, he looks back in slight concern and looks right back at Kuruk. Noticing that Avatar Kuruk wasn't aiming his spear for a kill shot at Ko, but rather to keep him from going deeper and deeper into his lair. And then Ko begins to say, just because you are the Avatar doesn't make you immune to death, just like any other pathetic mortal. And I must say, if that was your attempt to try to kill me, or much less trap me, I must say, in my centuries and centuries of being alive, you have to be the most arrogant human that I ever came across to think you could trap me in my own lair. And Kuruk, while even walking closer and closer to Ko, as Ko is pulling back further and further, but can barely go back because of Kuruk's spear. Kuruk says, you're wrong about one thing, Spirit. In order for you to be trapped, you have to be alive, which you won't be for long. And in that very moment, Avatar Kuruk uses very earthbending to make tall pillar spikes from the earth underneath Ko that shot intensely clean through the lower part of Ko, severely impaling his lower half, causing Ko to hiss and look at Avatar Kuruk in pure anger. Immediately, Ko looks at Kuruk and says, how dare you, you pathetic wretch? You have the nerve to attack me? And Kuruk, with the same emotionless face, walks up to Ko and says with his same monotone voice, for someone that feeds off of emotions, faces, and fears, from where I'm standing, you look just as pathetic and full of fear. I will prove that my words are true. You will die here, or I will die trying, but you will know true fear of the Avatar. And Avatar Kuruk uses water bending from his water pouch in order to grab his spear quickly back now that Ko is pinned, and uses airbending to compress Ko down, with Kuruk having a spear at Ko's face. And with Kuruk standing there in front of Ko's face and his foot on top of Ko's head with a spear pointed at his face ready to maim him. And Ko begins to state, me, Ko, feel fear from a human, much less be defeated or killed by a human. Never. I said it before, Ko, enough of these games. It's time to die. And then immediately Ko switches faces right before Kuruk's spear almost penetrated his forehead. And then Ko goes on to say, you wouldn't kill the very woman that you so-called proclaim to love. Now would you? And Kuruk goes on to say, enough of your trick, spirit. I know you're not her. You will die just the same. And then Ko goes on to say, this is no trick whatsoever. If I die, she dies. And then immediately Ko starts talking to Kuruk in Yumi's voice, saying, don't hurt me, don't kill me, you don't have to do this. And then Ko switches back to his regular voice and says, how about this, Avatar? For the life of the woman that you so-called claim to cherish, how about we make a deal? A proposal, if you will. With Kuruk still emotionless this entire time, he asks Ko, what are you getting at, spirit? What is this deal that you claim of? And Ko begins to smile and says, since you are the Avatar, since your job, your responsibility is to maintain balance and order amongst spirits such as I and pathetic, wretched mortals. I figure you will want to know how I even got to the mortal realm as well. There is a spirit able to travel between both the spirit realm and the mortal realm, much more powerful and dangerous than I. And as the Avatar, you should know as much. And Kuruk goes on to look at Ko and says, well, what about Yumi? And Ko simply says, oh, don't worry. She will be safe here with me until your return. And then Ko points Avatar Kuruk in the direction of Father Glowworm, who has been constantly traveling back and forth between the mortal and spirit world, feeding and devouring on humans, going back and forth. And then Ko, of course, manages to survive the entire ordeal. As he watched Avatar Kuruk leave his lair, Ko is still there in anger, knowing that he wasn't able to steal Avatar Kuruk's face and he almost killed him, causing Ko over the centuries to hold a grudge against the Avatar, and constantly remembering the fear he felt for almost being slain. Which is why we have these two iconic scenes as of today.
How could I forget you? One of your previous incarnations tried to slay me. Something about stealing the face of someone you loved.
Hello, Zuko here.
And if you like that video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And also let me know what you think the next video should be based off of. Because like I say at the end of all my videos, I read every comment and I make sure that y'all are heard. Because I'm trying to get to 50K by the end of the year, I would love to have your support and hear more about your ideas. I hope you're able to apply these words in your everyday life. And Lily, thanks for watching. Oh, and a reminder, drink water.
Perfection and power are overrated. I think you are very wise to choose happiness and love.